So if Marathon goes back to the 20s with this option I just bought, that I'm gonna buy tomorrow, uh, I'm gonna 12 times my money, 1200%, 1200% gain. You know, as you can see, we're up big time from when I bought those options back there. Now, this is saying the expiration is December. I had already sold and bought the March one. So I rolled over December into March because I know that this is going to go way higher. So oh no! This is microstrategy. This is how it's traded. So we had a breakout of this downward sloping resistance right there. We bought. Breakout, retest, resumption, right? Now we sell. Because we got the breakdown, the retest maybe, and then the resumption to probably the $300. And that's trading 101. Welcome back to the channel. It's been almost a year since my first video, since that marathon play, and what you saw was that MicroStrategy trade I took, and that trade brought me back all the gains from that marathon trade from those options last year. Now, that marathon trade at its peak was up 35,000%. And to put this in perspective, right, for every $1,000 invested in those marathon options, it turned it into $350,000, from $1,000 to $350,000. Of course, if you kept watching the channel, I didn't sell and the options expired worthless because of my hard price target of $35, which marathon never hit. It got to 31 and then went down from there. It never hit 36 and those options expired worthless. What is going on? And just so you can see how volatile the options trading is, this is a picture of my portfolio, right? And all the movement before the spike, that's Tesla stock. The only thing in my portfolio there is Tesla stock. And my portfolio makes Tesla stock look like a stable coin. It doesn't move at all. That just gives you a sense of how volatile options are. The marathon trade, that was the first options I ever bought. I told a lot of people about it, and a lot of people took that trade. And oh my God, the panic from people, the despair from people from when those options expired worthless. You should have heard the people, oh, you'll never see that kind of money again. You'll never see that kind of gain again. That was a one-off lucky trade. Well, not even a year has passed, and guess what? I see the gains again. And that strategy was, and MicroStrategy was really what bought them back. Now, if we look at the MicroStrategy chart, I bought at the breakout here, and I sold at the breakdown of this trend line, of the yellow trend line. And I utilized margin, leverage ETFs, and options to really outsize my gains on that trade because the stock only moved up 110%, but by utilizing options and margin and leveraged ETFs, I was able to really multiply those gains. Now, however, let's delete that green position. I sold. Why? Because the trend line breakdown, I expect the squiggle to play out. Here, I'll change the color of it to green. I expect the green squiggle to play out. So you have a breakdown. You're probably going to get a retest, and then a resumption lower to this yellow trend line, which is at about $300. So I've sold out completely out of the MicroStrategy for massive profits, bringing back the gains from that marathon option play last year. And looking at the marathon chart, we could clearly see there's a breakout of the of this downward sloping blue resistance line. So you got a breakout. Maybe we get a retest into the cycle low this week, and then up until the next Bitcoin cycle low, which is end of December, January, New Year's, about around New Year's time is the next Bitcoin cycle low. So, rotating out of MicroStrategy and into Marathon just seems like the play. And if you're new here and you're wondering why Marathon, why MicroStrategy, why the Bitcoin miners, and the reason is because we're looking for outperformance of Bitcoin. And historically, Marathon has outperformed the Bitcoin. However, since the September 9th cycle low, Marathon has barely outperformed, where Bitcoin went up 80%, Marathon only went up 90%, where, of course, last year when we got into those Marathon options, Marathon went up almost 300% when Bitcoin only went up 60, and that's really the outperformance I think that's going to come soon from Marathon that hasn't showed up yet. But typically the miners are the last ones to move when Bitcoin goes up. They're the last ones to go up. But you can see here with MicroStrategy, right? MicroStrategy went up 200% when Bitcoin only went up 68%. So that's why we're going into these. It's called a high beta play. It's when you have a high beta asset, it's like it moves faster than the underlier, if you will. So if Bitcoin goes up 1%, MicroStrategy goes up like 5, and that's what we're looking for, that outperformance, because we know Bitcoin's going up with these cycles, right? The cycle is the alpha. And here, I'll show you here. These are the cycle counts if you're new to the channel, right? Bitcoin goes through these 60-day cycle lows, and then it has a half cycle low in the middle here, which I have marked with an orange one. So Bitcoin might drop this week into a half cycle low. It might not, but if it does, that's a good buying opportunity for the Bitcoin miners, because after the half cycle low, it's going to come up before coming down into the actual weekly cycle low. And on that way up, you're going to see outperformance from the miners. So for every 1% Bitcoin goes up, the miners are going to go up like 2, right? I don't know exactly the conversion, but I know that it's going to outperform pretty much. Or at least that's what I expect. And let's say January comes, the cycle low comes, might stick around in the Bitcoin miners for another cycle. The next cycle low after January is going to be in March. It's a 60-day cycle, so we'll see what Bitcoin looks like. But what I'm eyeing is a rotation from the Bitcoin miners, which I hope to 3x in the next 1 or 2 months. I hope to then take the portfolio and rotate the whole thing from the miners into gold. So gold also has cycles. Gold cycles are like 36-day cycles. You get a cycle low every 36 days. And so we got a failed cycle here. That means the next cycle will probably also fail. And a failed cycle is when the price drops below the previous cycle low. So you can see it failed, and that means the next cycle will probably also fail here. So I expect the price to come down Christmas time below this previous low, and then that will be a great time to enter into long calls on gold miners. And there are a ton of gold miners, and the opportunity I see in gold miners is very similar to the opportunity I saw in Marathon last year, where if we could get some leaps, this is CDE, it's a gold miner, and it could possibly double. I believe we're going to get a double. And if it does, you're looking at a 2,000% gain. That's a 20x. That's a 20x on this option here. This is a 2027 $15 call option. If it can double, or it has to 4x for it to get the 20x, but you can see the overperformance, and that's what we're going for here. Here's another option, long dated 2027 $30 call option for AGI. As you can see, AGI can probably double from 18 to like it probably go to 40, you're looking at a 7x, right? If it does it earlier, it's a 8x, and this is you know, the overperformance we're looking for. So last week I made the rotation from microstrategy, which has been outperforming Bitcoin and in my eyes is now overvalued, into marathon stock and the Bitcoin miners, which haven't been overperforming that much and I think are undervalued. And then I think they're going to outperform this next month or two. And then I would like to rotate from the miners into the gold miners. And that's pretty much my plan. Like and subscribe.